In this video we're going to be looking at the Sears Craftsman 10-inch 5-speed drill press, as well as the Harbor Freight Central Machinery 12-speed 10-inch. So let's take a look at some of the numbers. For the Central Machinery, it is 10-inch 12-speed. And let's see if I can get that in a little bit better focus there. 120 volts, 3.85 amps. Spindle speed ranges from 300 to 2900 RPM. Table tilt is 45 degrees, the same on both of these tables, both of these drills. Chuck is 5/8, and the spindle stroke is 2 3/8 inches. So let's take a look at the Sears Craftsman. All right, 3.2 amps, 120 volts, 5-speed. RPM ranges from, what is that, 680 to 3150. The chuck is 1/2 inch, and the spindle stroke is just at 2 1/2 inches. The bases on both these drill presses are almost identical in size. So let's just take a look at one. On the Harbor Freight Central Machinery, it's 8 inches wide and comes in at about just about 13 inches. So let's see what this looks like in terms of height. They're almost the same in height, which comes in at just about, let's see, just about 27.5 inches. Both of them are 19 inches deep. I've already measured it. I think this one's going to come in at about the same, at 27.5. Yeah. So in terms of fitting it into a space or shelving or what have you, both these drill presses are going to come in at about the same dimensions. Both these drills use an almost identical method for controlling the depth of the drill, and that's this little collar right here. So all you do is turn this to the desired setting and then tighten this up. This is the Central Machinery, Harbor Freight. This is the Craftsman, and almost identical device here. Okay, so all you got to do is loosen this up, turn this to the desired location, tighten it down, and then you're good to go. Both of these drill presses have very similar tables. Let's take a look at the Central Machinery. It does tilt 45 degrees either way, and there's the scale. They both have crank handles. Let's go over and take a look at the Craftsman. Same thing here. Does have your increments. I don't know if that'll come into focus well enough, but it is a little bit easier to view. And the crank handle on the Craftsman is just a little bit more comfortable. So both of these drills are pretty similar in many ways, especially when it comes to dimensions. But let's start taking a look at some of those differences. Let's look at the Harbor Freight Central Machinery. One of the big differences is the RPM settings you can go to. Let's see if I can get this to focus in. Yeah. This one goes much lower. It goes down to 300 RPM, then up to 2900 RPM in 12 different steps. Okay. So if a slower speed is important to you, especially if you're working on materials that need slower speed, then this is going to be important to you. Okay. Let's take a look at the Craftsman. The Craftsman has 5 steps, 5 different speeds, and ranges from 680 all the way up to 3150. So that's one significant difference in these two drills. The Sears Craftsman comes with an accessory that's a little jig that bolts on with wing nuts onto the table to help you to control your work, and that's a nice accessory to have. The Sears Craftsman also comes with an LED light, which for doing close-up work is very nice to have. I've got that on my 8-inch Harbor Freight, and that gives you plenty of light so you can see better what's going on with your work. The other thing too is it does come with a laser, and they can be aligned. This is just about perfectly aligned, pretty close. This table is a little bit wiggly, but you can align that a little bit better than what I've done there. So this really comes with 3 things that the other one, that the Harbor Freight, does not come with. It comes with the table jig, the laser, and then the LED light. I'd like to point something out about the Harbor Freight Central Machinery table on this drill press, and that is there's an awful lot of play in here, okay? When it's seated down and it's not tightened down at the back, I hope you can see this well enough, there's enough light coming through, it's not quite 90 degrees to this post. The way to compensate for that is to lift up on this and hold it up while you tighten down this nut back here. Okay, so keep that in mind. If having 90 degree or perfectly perpendicular holes in your workpieces are important, you need to make sure you do that every time and you check it after you've tightened it down. So let's look at the Craftsman. And this guy is almost dead on, if you can see that. And there's almost no play. Let's see if we can get that in. Very, very little play in that table compared to the other. So that is a difference. If you're doing precise work and you want to avoid noggling in your workpieces, you need to make sure the tables are set correctly for you. Both these drills retail for about $135 or somewhere in that range before any kind of discounts or coupons. Some of the differences, again, to summarize, the Harbor Freight has 12 different speed settings, as low as 300, whereas the Craftsman has only 5 speeds and the lowest is just a little over 600. The Craftsman does have a very good LED light so you can see your work. And at the same time, it has lasers that you can adjust and set up so you can target your workpiece a little bit better. So if you found this video useful, please press like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And as always, good luck on your projects.